Hi, welcome to this episode of Industry Voice. And today we have Jason Butts from Simply IOA on this episode joining us. How are you, Jason?
Hey Jeff, thanks so much for having me on today.
Great. Thank you for coming out. So we met probably 4 years ago when we
Yeah.
first chatted, and you guys were launching some of your technology back then, and I thought that was very ambitious, and I thought that was a great tool that you guys are building. But I want to go back earlier. Just tell our audience your story, your journey. How'd you dive into insurance? How'd you land insurance? And then what led you from running your own agency to director of care relations to VP of partnership. And then now today, as we talk, you are the president of Simply IOA. So congratulations on that. But I'd love to hear your journey. And then we have some questions we want to talk about.
Well, thanks, Jeff. So it's been it's been a heck of a journey, right? And I think that as a lot of people in insurance, I got my start. My father was an Allstate guy for 35 years, so so grew up hearing about insurance, and I think like most kids that have a parent in the insurance industry, we all swore that we would never go into insurance. So I'm the oldest of four boys. I've got three younger brothers, and two of us ended up being agency owners. I actually went to work with my dad at Allstate. Was there about a year, and without a knock on some of our brothers and sisters over on the captive side, like it just wasn't for me, right? So, I think that it was one product. I was in Florida, and so Allstate had an auto product. There really was no homeowners product. I say it's like an ice cream shop that sells vanilla ice cream. It was a little overpriced. It was okay on the taste, and I just didn't see how that was going to be able to provide for my family, over the years. And so I broke off in 2002 and started an independent agency, really focused on homeowners because it's just been a problem in Florida for a long time. And so opened up a independent agency, starting with home, leading with the home, and really just went to a bunch of my dad's State Farm buddies that we used to go hunting with. And State Farm was in a situation where they really didn't have much of a home market either. I said, listen, guys, just send me all your home business. I won't touch your auto. And so next, the phone was lit up, and just kept hiring and hiring. To be able to help, was blessed with getting some contracts for some great Florida carriers. Tower Hill in particular was just great. A buddy over there named Steve Allnut believed in me. I was a 26, 27-year-old kid without much of a background in insurance sales, and they gave me a shot. And so that was 2002. Grew the agency. We're a personal lines distribution only, so I did not mess with commercial. I just really loved the home, auto, boat, jet ski, dirt bike, motorcycle, all those things that everybody really has to have insurance on, hates paying for, but wanted to be there with quality products and choice of products. And so I sold the agency about 10 years ago, still fairly young. And but multiples were at an all-time high, right? And so, I looked at it, I said, hey, it's been a great run. Would love to go ahead and sell and maybe look to do something else within the industry. And sold to after meeting with several companies, I sold to Insurance Office of America. I just felt like my values aligned with John and Valerie Rittenauer, their son Heath, who's chairman of our board now, and really just kind of found a home there. After a year or two of quite honestly just taking it a little easy, coming to the office every day, but not having to work quite as hard, I just felt there has to be a better way, right? There's got to be a better way to distribute products to individuals to make this an easier process. And that's where Simply IOA was born. So one of the founder came over from Northern Ireland, who had some tech experience, used the partnerships, those relationships that I had made within the industry to really sit down with him and bring forward a new way to distribute home and auto.
Are you going to give us some tease of the sauce?
I'm an open book, man. So anything you ask, you're gonna get you'll get a straight answer from me. I mean, it's been it's definitely been a curvy road, and have the battle wounds to show for it. But again, extremely excited for the future. So yeah, ask me anything. Look forward to talking about it.
Sure. So when we first met, you were talking about the radar system that you guys have. There's a lot of radar system in the marketplace, a lot of radars from just traditional recall 3 to, I'm sorry, recall 1, and then some has recall 3, right? And what did you see that was, not everything that you wanted and made you decide, hey, you know what, let's build ours?
Yeah, so I think, the goal at first was to be able to provide something so consumers felt like they weren't getting duped, right? So for years and years, people would be online and like everything else that you buy in today's world, you feel like you can go online, especially you can get groceries delivered, all these things. Like, why can I not at least purchase insurance if I feel comfortable and I'm the right type of risk? Why can't I go ahead and buy an insurance policy by having choice, right? So you can go to the Progressives, you can go to the Geicos, all of the other big name guys now. Obviously, you can go online. The Travelers and the Nationwides, a lot of those followed suit with, hey, we have a consumer channel. But what we believed as an independent agency is that we could bring choice to the consumer, so they wouldn't have to go and hit 5 different carrier sites to get a rate that they could actually buy online. And so we set off on this journey to say, how can we do this where a consumer gets to the end, and then instead of thinking that they're going to be able to buy a policy, right? What really happens is that lead, that all that information that they just spent filling out, then is sent to 10 different agents, and they're harassed by calls and text message and emails and everything else. And they were really no further along than where they were, or they should have just picked up the phone to begin with. And so what we wanted to do is provide an opportunity for somebody to come in, have an easy online experience. We wanted to pre-fill things, so if we take auto, for example, we wanted to pull up their vehicles. We didn't want them to have to say, here's the make, go to the next screen, here's the model, here is the year. Like, nobody sits down with their VIN number, right? So like, we knew this from experience. We felt like we could solve this. The other thing too that we found was that, as you know, Jeff, like carriers, there's a cost to pulling in that data. And what we thought we'd be able to do is be able to go ahead and take the data, use the data to help make that process less expensive for our carriers and drive a better customer by eliminating the customer being sent to a carrier who never was interested in that customer to begin with, right? And so we wanted to use a lot of data and insight to make it a better experience for the consumer, but also drive the right consumer to the right carrier at the right price for the risk. And so we had early success. I think that some of the largest carriers in the country, Progressive being one of those, kind of blessed us with saying, you know what, guys, we will build this rate call 3. We were one of just a handful of agencies in the country that had access to do it. And, a couple of the other carriers were looking to try to go ahead and build it as well. Honestly, I think what we found was that a lot of carriers didn't have the infrastructure to be able to even link up with us at that time, which kind of blew me away, right? Like, you see all the big buildings, you see all this investment and everything else, but it really wasn't there to be able to connect with an agency like ours who was forward thinking on the technology. A lot of them were willing to sit down and have the conversation, but it was just going to take a lot longer than we thought. And then we all know what happened. We had 2 years where the insurance industry got turned upside down. COVID happened, then loss ratios, and we saw the carriers pull back, right? Like, hey, we had some of the largest carriers in the country who basically shut down, 70, 80% of the business. And so the timing stunk. I think that moving forward, there's an opportunity, but I think profitable growth are the 2 keywords that every carrier is looking for. And they're certainly not jumping into the InsurTech 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, whatever term we want to put on it. It's going to be a nice, controlled, steady build, in my opinion. And we'll see where that goes. I'm still hopeful, but it's certainly not going to be anything that I see in the first half of 2025 changing, or even any of 2025 changing fundamentally how we do it.
Simply IOA, the platform, the rater platform, how many states is it in?
So we work with just about every state right now. I think we have about
Wow.
35 states, and then moving into the others. Obviously, as you know, 25, 30 states make up over 80%, I think, of the population of the United States. So in terms of being able to serve people, we're able to do it on a large scale.
That's impressive. And I'm on your site, by the way, and it's a good looking site. So go back to the challenge working with carriers and building technology, because you cannot just build it without their blessing. You need to have their API. What do you think, since you have a lot of carrier conversation, and also shout out to Michelle, she probably have a lot of carrier conversation and vendor conversation. What do you think is a tougher challenge right now? Which conversation is harder, auto or homes? Thank you for all your support to our channel. Here's a quick word from our sponsor. Please click on the link below in the comment section to sign up for a demo with Track AI.
What if your insurance sales conversations could work harder for you? Meet Track, your AI-powered conversation intelligence partner. Track automatically captures and analyzes every customer interaction, providing instant call summaries, risk analysis, and AI-driven coaching insights. Say goodbye to manual note-taking and hello to more selling time. Track handles the admin work while you handle the revenue. Fully integrated with your favorite platforms. Plus, get custom AI analysis tailored to your unique business needs. Transform your sales team's performance with Track. Visit track.ai today.
Click the link in the description below to schedule a demo with Track today.
Well, home hands down, right? In terms of new business, anybody who disagrees with that just does not know the marketplace, and that's just the way it is. So on the personal line side, property insurance right now is extremely difficult. The auto carriers, they've pushed rate really fast. They've gotten the rate in most of the states that they need, and they're starting to write the auto business, and that's great. I think we have seen rates mostly peak. I don't want to get too out in front of it, but in my mind, and I think hearing some of the carrier conversations, rates came up to a level where they feel comfortable coming back into the marketplace. In fact, I think we may actually see some carriers, and they've already filed this, I think we're going to see a little bit of a pullback from those rates. So I think that some people will see a rate decrease. We still have a property capacity issue. And then I think that that's where I'm so excited, because what we have done over the last couple of years, and I've heard you talk about this on some of your other podcasts and the conversations that you have, is data. And that's where I feel like our agency in particular, we have a team in Belfast. And so the reason why we have a team in Belfast is that industry, that European model has been ahead of the US model, I'd say probably a good 8 to 10 years. And so they are used to knowing what to look for. And then also we're able to actually start taking some insights and feed that back into our carriers, right? So using data in a very responsible way to go ahead and look at some ways where we can drive profitable business to them. And so we're getting the capacity in states because we have the data to support why we should get the capacity, right? And I believe that that's where really the marketplace is going. And that goes into the conversation of one of the things that I know you're big on with AI and how AI is used. Quite frankly, the last couple of years, I have been so tired of hearing like, oh, we can do AI and it's going to be awesome and everything else. Show me what you're doing to write more profitable business, right? Like I want to know specifically. Machine learning, right? AI, all these buzz terms that are in the industry and everybody gets up on stage and talks about, show me, right? And so I think that we are just now starting to see how some of those AI models are able to spit it out. But if you don't have the data coming in from the beginning at a pretty large scale, it's really difficult to go ahead and make a good case. And I think that that's one of the things that if I'm a new agent, if I'm a smaller agency right now, like I am finding out a way to make sure my data that is in my system is accurate, because if it's not, what you put in and what you get out, or it's just not going to help you long term.
I think for the AI to really do its thing, we need connectivity to be better. And the industry have a lot of connectivity challenges. One is there's a lot of legacy system, right? And two, not everybody like to open their doors. They keep their door closed and protecting their own data. Yeah. But the end result is nobody share the data to make our industry better.
Yeah, look, I agree with that. And I think, for us, we're really focused on, so we started 5-6 years ago, really focused on that consumer experience. We have that same mindset now, which is how do we bring a consumer more value in their personal lines, home, auto, anything else that they need, umbrella, flood coverage. How do we do that in a way where we're not hitting everybody, right? Because there's a lot of people who've been with their carrier. Moving doesn't make sense, right? But there's a tremendous amount of people that they have seen their prices, right, and every aspect of their life go up. And there's opportunity for them to significantly save by taking a look at their insurance, by shopping their insurance, by potentially moving their insurance. And so, look, I mean, we believe we love the mortgage industry right now, the mortgage servicing industry. We think that that's a great way. They have a lot of data. We believe that we can go ahead and work closely with them to help them bring a solution. We're looking at refinances that people are now that real mortgage interest rates have come down a little bit. There's going to be a lot of people looking to refinance. Why are we not including the potential for home insurance savings in their refinance, overall picture, right? And so we have a solution for that. That I'm extraordinarily excited about. In fact, I mean, this is probably the most excited I've been in a long time because, I think that there's a way to do it that you're targeting specific customers because you can help, right? Instead of just throwing mud on a wall and seeing what sticks, which is what we do with a lot of our marketing. It's just you're out there, you're trying to get everybody, I'm going to quote everybody, and then hopefully write, your 20-25%. We're able to look at it in a different way, where we're able to start looking and slicing the data, knowing I know that I can save Jeff in Virginia, right? Because I have a lot of Jeff's data. I'm enriching some of the data that I don't have, and we're bringing Jeff a solution that he basically just has to say, hey, yeah, that information is correct, or no, that's not correct, and we're able to adjust it and then go ahead and provide what that looks like. So I think that for us, that's our focus. We're super excited about it. I think our carriers are excited about it because they're actually able to close that information loop, right? Instead of just us writing a policy, sticking it with them, they're doing all the underwriting. We're trying to go ahead and underwrite as much as we possibly can before we even give them a look at it. And that's that's really resonating and something I think is going to change the industry.
I see that also on your website. It says partnership agreement. Are you guys leveraging this technology and sharing with other people and building a B2B model?
Yeah. So look, I mean, one of the other phrases that we've heard a lot is embedded, right? And it's like, somebody uses it and the next thing you know, it's like you've got everybody else using it. So, I think for us, it really goes back to, can technology help the consumer? And if not, then don't spend the money on that technology. If it's not making your life easier, if it's not helping your close ratio, if it's not helping provide, better customers to your carriers, stop spending the money. And so I think for us, we're really taking a deep dive and looking at every aspect of our operation. That's you mentioned Michelle Sipe on our team, who continues to evaluate that, and says, how do we make it better for the consumer? And then we're able to bring a solution to our partners, right, who believe that they're saying, hey, we have a bunch of people who need help. We're getting the phone calls. So what happens, after somebody has their mortgage escrow analysis, right? Their home insurance has definitely gone up. If you're in some states in the country, like your insurance company has left, gone under, non-renewed, canceled your policy, you're looking, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to call either your local insurance agent, say, hey, do you have an option? Or you're going to call your mortgage servicer. Hey, my home insurance just went up $900, which means my mortgage payment just went up. Your $900, divide that by 12, whatever it is, and they're seeing that increase. Why did my mortgage payment go up? And so we want to be a solution for those phone calls. We have a solution for those. And we're able to have, in a lot of those cases, Jeff, what's really cool is we actually have something waiting for that person. So we're anticipating that call. So when Jeff calls in saying, hey, my mortgage payment just went up $85, we're able to bring you the solution in normally just like a couple of minutes after we verified a few key pieces of data.
That's very cool. So we talked a little bit about going to, well, actually, Michelle and I, we talked a little bit about you guys going to ITC this year. Is that still on the plan with everything that you guys got going on the last couple of days? For those of you audience don't know, Jason, Jason living in Florida.
Yeah, I was out at ITC a few years ago, Jeff, and was frankly blown away with the crowd that was there, with all the emerging technology. And I think we briefly chatted, like it's changed a lot. We're not that insure tech 1.0. You look back years ago. I sat with Rick at Hippo at a conference, before Hippo just really kind of took off, and Rick took the reins there. And so I think that the moderator at the time put an agent up against this up and coming insurance company, insure tech provider, right? Thinking that I was going to bash. And after he spoke, I basically picked up the mic and said, hey, I believe in everything he just said, and so great respect for those folks who kind of really, were out at the forefront of that insure tech thought process, which is, again, like, how do we deliver something in a way that makes sense? And, it's just been an unlucky few years with with loss ratios and things like that. But leaders in the marketplace like that, I think that they'll be around. It's tough to go up against a Travelers, a Nationwide, a Progressive, and these guys who have done it for so long. But I do believe that they brought tremendous value into the marketplace by introducing some of this technology and digital, foresight to really want to change that process. What the future looks like. Again, I think that for us, we're focused on how do we go ahead and get the right customer to the right carrier, because they are all about profitable growth.
That's a really good quote. And I think I kind of have idea of where your tool is. So I'm waiting to maybe one day have you do a demo and dive in a little bit more. So I'm looking for the next time we catch up. So if we catch up again and have you come back on the show a year from now, where is Jason? Can you give us some of your comfortable goals and uncomfortable goals?
Yeah, look, I think for me, personally with Simply IOA, we have a tremendous amount of work in front of us. We want to bring on more mortgage servicing partners because we have found the solution. And I say that just extremely confidently, which is great. I know there's some other players kind of in the space on the agency side, but we're doing stuff that nobody else is doing, specifically as it relates to data analytics and being able to provide our carriers insight. So I think for us, we want to continue to grow at pace and scale. We think that there's going to be stronger relationship between carriers and agencies, right? Because again, without that insight, I think that we're going to have carriers that are not just going to open up the floodgates and say, give us the stuff. I think that they have learned their lesson the last couple of years. I think we're going to see a consolidation, Jeff, within our industry. I think, we've seen it a lot. You have a lot of people still buying agencies at really high multiples right now. So I think there's going to be continued consolidation in the agency space. And you're going to have fewer but larger agencies providing the majority of policies to these carrier partners. And I really feel like the industry, that's kind of where we're going. Look, I believe that there's still going to be mom and pop shops in every corner, right? And there's a lot of people who like to walk into an office and do that. We love that too. I'm sitting in the office now, and we have folks come in that still want to make a payment, grab a cup of coffee. That's okay, right? But those folks are becoming fewer and fewer, I think, especially when technology can provide them a way to transact business where they feel comfortable, where they feel like they can get a hold of an agent at any point. So we're still agent led. So if somebody calls in, they are talking to a licensed agent who knows the ins and outs of that carrier, what the policy looks like, how a claim is going to be handled. That is still 99%, I believe, of how people are buying insurance, especially from an agency. For those folks who want to start that journey online, we want to be there too. We don't want to lose that customer. But I think by holding their hand over the line is going to provide that customer experience that they're looking for. And people just aren't ready, nor are the insurance companies ready to say, we're going to have a rate call 3, which, most people who have played in this space, basically that is binding an insurance policy and making a payment without, interaction. So a rate call 3, I think that carriers will maybe have it set up, but there will be very few people that go through that. And they're going to have very little appetite for allowing, if you're not the perfect risk, I think that they're going to have very limited appetite for people to go through that channel. It doesn't work. The loss ratios are too high and they've been burned. And so I'm really excited to watch our agency grow. I'm excited to lead our team. And we've got a bunch of great folks. I believe that, to me, leadership is simply just surrounding yourself with people who can give honest feedback. We come up with an idea. We encourage everybody to poke holes in it. And at the other side of that, we have a solution. And so I'm excited for that. And I think that the industry is really moving in the right direction. And I'm hoping we can start changing the way some people feel about insurance, just in terms of like how we're viewed, right? Like I want to be there for that customer when they have a loss. And I think our carrier partners do too. And so really wanting to go ahead and make sure we're getting the best people to our carriers is the future of insurance.
Jason, you're running the show over there. I love what you guys are doing. Well, thank you for coming on this episode. And hopefully I get to catch up with you on ITC so we can talk a little bit about AI.
That sounds
And
good. I can't wait to hear all your thoughts and the introductions. I see your LinkedIn profile continues to grow, thousands and thousands of people in the industry. So I always love watching the content that you're getting out there, and look forward to meeting some of your folks where you believe there could be a great connection. So I will see you out in Vegas.
thank you for listening to this episode. And thank you, Jason, for coming out.